It was a seemingly ordinary day at Ridgeway Hills Nursing Home, a place known for providing care and comfort to the elderly. The staff had arranged for a routine visit from a K-9 unit, a way to lift the residents' spirits and showcase the safety protocols in place. Officer Daniels, a calm and experienced handler, brought his trusted companion Titan, a sharp-eyed German shepherd who had served in the K-9 unit for years. Titan had seen it all, from sniffing out contraband to searching for missing persons. But today, the mission was different. The visit was meant to be a light-hearted and informative demonstration for the residents. Laughter echoed down the hallways as nurses led the elderly to the recreation room, where they could meet Titan and enjoy the demonstration. Titan moved quietly at first, accepting the pats and friendly gestures from the residents. He was a trained dog, always on alert, but this time he seemed unusually calm. As they neared the east wing of the nursing home, Titan's behavior began to change. The long hallway, unused for years, seemed to draw Titan's attention. He stopped abruptly, his ears twitched, and a low growl escaped from his throat. Officer Daniels, confused by the sudden change in behavior, gently tugged on the leash. "What is it, boy?" he asked. Titan's body stiffened, and in an instant, he broke into a full sprint. His claws screeched across the tile floor as he bolted down the deserted corridor. Nurses gasped in surprise, one elderly woman even dropping her cup in shock. Titan's movement was frantic, like something had triggered his instincts. Titan skidded to a halt outside a door with no label. He barked furiously, scratching violently at the door, his growls deep and resonant. There was something behind that door that didn't belong. Whatever it was, Titan knew it wasn't right. Officer Daniels rushed behind him, still unsure of what was happening. "Easy, Titan, what's going on?" he called. One of the nurses, out of breath and pale, caught up with them. She stammered, "That door, it's been sealed for years. It used to be an old supply room. No one goes in there anymore." Officer Daniels frowned. "Then why is it locked with a deadbolt from the outside?" he asked, suspicious. The nurse paused, clearly nervous. "It's probably just safety measures. Old homes like this, things get left behind." But Titan wasn't convinced. His entire body trembled with tension, his nose pressed against the crack in the door as if he smelled something no human could detect. One of the residents, a frail woman who had followed them, whispered, "That room, it gives me bad dreams." Officer Daniels, sensing something was amiss, unclipped Titan's lead and reached for his radio. "Dispatch, we need backup. Something's not right here." Within minutes, backup arrived. 2 more officers and a maintenance worker armed with bolt cutters appeared. The hallway had grown tense, the nurses exchanged nervous glances, and the residents were quietly ushered away. Titan, however, remained fixated on the door, pacing back and forth, growling under his breath. The tension in the air was palpable. With a sharp snap, the deadbolt gave way, and Officer Daniels pushed the door open slowly. A thick cloud of dust billowed out, stinging their eyes and filling the air with a musty, metallic odor. The light switch on the wall flickered but didn't work, so the officers switched to flashlights. The room inside looked like a frozen time capsule. Stacks of rusted wheelchairs, broken crutches, and cracked bedpans littered the space. It seemed like nothing had been touched in years. But in the corner, something else caught their attention. A large tarp lay folded neatly, stained with what looked like dried blood. Beside it, a small bundle wrapped in plastic was half buried under debris. Officer Daniels stepped closer, his heart pounding in his chest. Titan let out a sharp bark, signaling the seriousness of the situation. "What the hell is this place?" one officer muttered under his breath, but no one had an answer. As the officers began clearing away the debris, Titan kept circling the back wall, sniffing and whining. His claws tapped against a section of the paneling that sounded different, hollow. Daniels ran his hand along the wall and noticed a thin seam that was almost invisible to the eye. "There's something behind this," he said. With the help of a crowbar, they pried the wall open. Behind it was a narrow passage leading to another room. There were no windows, no vents, it was soundproofed. The flashlight beams danced across the walls, illuminating shelves covered in dust and something far worse. In the far corner, a row of old, faded children's toys, dolls, stuffed animals, and plastic figurines, lined the shelves. But the sight of a child-sized bed frame in the center of the room, with restraints bolted to it, made everyone stop in their tracks. The air became thick with horror as they realized that what they had uncovered was not just an old storage space, but something far more sinister. On one of the shelves, a stack of worn VHS tapes lay next to the bed frame. Handwritten labels on the tapes showed names and dates, some over a decade old. Titan growled deep in his throat as he continued to circle the room. Daniels turned pale as the gravity of the situation began to sink in. "This isn't a supply closet," he said grimly. "This is a prison." The discovery sent shockwaves through the entire nursing home. Forensic teams arrived soon after, and as they began processing the room, more disturbing findings emerged. Beneath the floorboards, they found small, delicate bones wrapped in tattered fabric. An old bracelet, still clinging to one wrist, was engraved with the name Leia. It didn't take long for DNA testing to confirm what everyone feared. The remains matched a girl named Leia Thompson, who had been reported missing 12 years ago. Her file had been marked closed due to relocation, but the truth was far darker. She had been hidden away in this facility, and her disappearance had been covered up. As the investigation unfolded, it was revealed that the nursing home had been hiding other missing children. Reports from families who had searched for their loved ones came to light, showing that the home had intentionally misfiled cases and closed them with no follow-up. The staff had been complicit in this cover-up, but Titan's actions had cracked it wide open. The case soon caught the attention of the FBI. Special Agent Rivera, a veteran with a reputation for uncovering institutional crimes, took over the investigation. With Titan by their side, the truth continued to unfold. It became clear that the nursing home had been hiding its crimes for years, using administrative errors and misfiled documents to cover up its dark activities. Rivera and her team dug deeper, uncovering more files that linked the nursing home to a string of missing persons reports filed between 2009 and 2014. One case stood out, a 6-year-old girl who had been placed at Ridgeway for emergency care after a family tragedy. Her case had gone cold, and no follow-up was ever conducted. The home's cover-up was not just incompetence, it was intentional. As more victims came forward, both elderly residents and children, the full scope of the nursing home's actions became apparent. The public was outraged, and the media swarmed the site. Lawsuits were filed, and investigations into elder care institutions across the country began. But amid the chaos, one truth stood clear: without Titan, none of this would have come to light. A month later, a quiet ceremony was held outside the now-closed nursing home. Families of victims, law enforcement, and townspeople gathered to honor those whose lives had been stolen and hidden away. At the center of it all stood Titan, his coat brushed, his eyes alert. A young girl, no older than 6, stepped forward with a velvet box in hand. It was Leia's niece, born after her disappearance. She opened the box and placed a medal around Titan's neck. The engraving read, "For uncovering the truth." Titan stood tall, understanding the significance of the moment. Officer Daniels knelt beside him, whispering, "You didn't just find a room, you gave voices back to the forgotten." Agent Rivera approached quietly. "We've reopened 7 cold cases because of this dog," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. The crowd erupted in applause, some wiping away tears. Titan had not only uncovered a hidden room, he had uncovered the truth that had been buried for years, and in doing so, had brought justice to those forgotten by the system.